Ladies and gentlemen, I just listened to some Big X The Plug before we went live, and I'm absolutely juiced for this week's Tuesday evening live show. Welcome into the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen. We got Jack Lutteray on the ones and twos. We're about to give you an hour of the best content you'll find all week long right here at the Ravens Rundown. Coming up first on our live show lineup, Eric DeCosta did it again. We're going to hear from some NFL scouts. We're actually going to hear from a former GM as well, talk about how well the Baltimore Ravens fared in the 2025 NFL Draft. And then up next, I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to shock the NFL and finally get it done in 2025. And up last, the best segment of the week, our live Ravens mailbags. You got the questions. I've got the answers. I see Mike's already getting his question in there very, very early. If you guys want to be like Mike, Nintendo Master, go ahead. Get down in the comment section, use hashtag Ravens, and ask me a question. I'm going to ask you a question, though, okay? I'm going to flip the script. What is your one-word reaction to the Justin Tucker release? Let me know in the comment section down below. It was, I don't want to say... It wasn't not surprising, but I will admit, okay, I was a little bit surprised that it happened yesterday on a random Monday, early in May. Because 2 weeks prior to that, John Harbaugh spoke to the media, sure, and I know everything that these head coaches say to the media, you just kind of take it with a grain of salt. A lot of it is coach speak. But he did say, we're going to let the investigation run its course. And so I thought that they were going to let the investigation run its course because that's not something that's just coach speak. That's just pretty much common sense. Anytime one of your players is under legal investigation by the National Football League, you usually let those things run their course. And just after he said that, 2 days later, Justin Tucker is gone. My one word, time. I think it was time. With everything that happened in the offseason, and I get it, there's still allegations at this point. He is being investigated. But that mixed with the fact that he was not good in 2024, it was time for this to happen. Let's get down in the comment section. We got Papa Shook saying bye. Mike Nintendo Master saying fine. The best in the North saying expected. Shadow Prod saying, yo, Joey, what do you think about showing some Justin Tucker highlights, please? If we did that, Shadow Prods, our channel would be taken down. The SWAT team would bust through that window, and I'd have a red dot sight right on my forehead. Just kidding. We cannot show any. We cannot show any clips, or the NFL will get upset with us. Mog says political. Reginald says retire. Time Man says, what up, Joey? What's up, Time Man? Mike said expensive. LT Production says hi. The best in the North says random. Makes sense, while the Sanders stuff is still taking the news. Yeah, that's not a bad point. Kyle Bauer says, we appreciate everything that JT did for the flock, but I guess it's time to move on. Thanks for the memories, Tucker. Mike Nintendo Master said he had 2 years left on his contract and a lot of guaranteed money. Shadow Prod says, my one word is Deshaun. Jim Scarborough says, NFL decision delay is inexcusable. Put us in a really bad spot before the draft. Kyle says, let's go, Joey. We're getting at it this year. Yes, we are, Kyle. We're getting at it, baby. Let's go. Papa Shook says, hashtag Ravens, how many sacks can we expect from Mike Green? That's a great question. A lot is my answer. I'll go more in depth in our third segment. If you guys want to be like Mike, want to be like Moggs, want to be like Papa Shook, all the real ones, okay? Real ones in the chat. Go ahead, ask me any question. Use hashtag Ravens. If you use hashtag Ravens, you'll have a really good chance to be featured on our mailbag in the third segment. Alrighty, so get your questions in there if you want to get on the show. If you got questions you want me to answer, use hashtag Ravens down in the comment section and ask me your question. Mark says, hashtag Ravens, why not wait until June for the $4 million with Tucker? I think what you're asking is why not, if he's going to be a post-June 1st release for that $4.2 million, why not wait until post-June 1? I don't know. That's kind of where all the confusion is coming in from my side as well, because I thought that's what they would do. I thought they would wait until the decision was over, which I didn't think was going to happen anytime in the next month, right? And June 1st is like what? less than 4 weeks away. Hashtag Ravens. Do we need other offensive linemen? Yes, we do. Best in the North says, do you think Green will start pending no setbacks? Best in the North, ask that question again and use hashtag Ravens. Also, thanks for all the content. As always, Best in the North, happy to do it. Papa Shook said, kind of wish Green would wear 15, but he chose 45. Yeah, 45 is an interesting number. I wonder why he chose that. I guess 15 is available, right? I know Nelson Aguilar was 15, but let's see. Would 15 have been available? We filter by number. Oh, Cooper Rush took 15. So, no, it wouldn't have been available. Because NFL is not like college. You can't have two people with the same number on the same team, even if they play on opposite sides of the ball. Shadow Prod says, Joey, what's your thoughts on D-Hop? Do you think he's too old, or do you think he's prime OBJ, LOL? Shadow, great question. I'm going to answer it, but also I want you to ask it again so we can get it in the mailbag and use hashtag Ravens. So just copy, paste it, put hashtag Ravens on it as well. I think he's going to be really, really good. I think that you shouldn't expect over 1,000 yards from him because I think he's past that point in his career, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be a good asset to this offense and a good wide receiver for Lamar Jackson. Also, if you guys want to make sure your question gets on today's show, you can go ahead and super chat in. It's that $sign right next to the chat box. $1, $2, $3 does not matter. We can guarantee your question gets on that way. Speaking of Justin Tucker, speaking of the entire kicker situation, Tyler Loop is now the guy. Okay? He's the guy. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you want to wish him good luck, do me one big favor. Like the video, okay? Hit that thumbs up button. Do not jinx it, okay? If you want the Ravens special teams unit to be at a high in 2025, then you'll go ahead and like today's video and wish Tyler Loop some good luck. Kind of send some good vibes towards number 33's way. Best in the North. Ask that again, but use hashtag Ravens, okay? Not hashtag do you. But great question. Mike says Tuck retired, or they got word, and now he's cooked. Moggs, I don't want to speculate, okay? So I'm not going to. But I will say what you just said crossed my mind. Of maybe they figured out how something in the investigation was going. That crossed my mind. Yeah, I think so as well. Jack says it's got to be what happened. We're not going to speak in absolutes here because that's not what we're going to do about this subject. Yeah. Yeah, that is not a fact. We do not know that for a fact. That's just kind of the way I'm picking it up. Pop Shook says I'd prefer to have PQ along Roquan still. Yeah, I think we all would. Trent Simpson was kind of a flop this last year, which is unfortunate. Speaking of draft picks, which pick was your favorite? And a little bit of a caveat. You can't use Malaki Starks and you can't use Mike Green. You got to choose one outside of those guys. I'm really excited about Teddy Buchanan. Everything I've seen from him, rookie minicamp, he looked great. He is fast. He's athletic. You probably reached for him a little bit in the fourth round, but I still think he's going to be really, really good. Shadow Prod says Tyler Loop. Best in the North says Kone by far. Y'all keep getting those in the comments section. And also, while you're hanging out, we're about to start in just a little bit. Make sure you guys like today's video. We got to get to 20 likes, okay? We need 20 likes, and once we get there, we can start today's video. Jack said he's not doing anything. He's going to be a bitter old man until we get to 20 likes. I kind of agree. Y'all keep letting me know who your favorite pick is going to be. I'm going to go with Wester. He's a lot like Zay and having little zippy guys on the team. I'm really excited to see what Wester turns into. I think Wester and myself got off on the wrong foot because a bunch of people were mad at me, a bunch of Colorado fans, for my thoughts on Wester. I thought it was a bit of a reach in the 6th round. I would have been happy with getting him in the 7th. But still, my only thing is I don't love having two guys that small on the roster. But, man, he could pan out to be something really, really special. All right, we got 20 likes. Let's go. Shannon Lindemann. She's in here. What's up, Shannon? I like the fact that they picked a kicker as the first time in the draft I believe they ever did. It was time for Tucker to retire. He's been there for 13 seasons. Nintendo Master says, okay, here's my one Madden question for you today. If you're okay to answer, who do you want as the backup QB on Madden? Sticky Slick Billy, #Ravens, do you think there's a DT or edge rusher worth picking up or trading for before the season? Great question. Yeah, I know. I don't think we will either. Y'all are crushing it with the questions. Keep them rolling in. There's an edge that's worth trading for. I think there's both. The thing is like those are such coveted positions that nobody is really willing to give those up, you know? Yeah, Trey Hendrickson, obviously. We'll talk about him in just a little bit later. But that's a great question, Sticky Slick Billy. Stick around for segment 3. I'll get that fully answered. Okay, we're going to go into it. Off the top of the show, Eric DeCosta did it again. We're going to hear from some NFL GMs. We're going to hear from some NFL scouts. And that's all coming to you. We ready to roll? Right now. Eric DeCosta did it again, ladies and gentlemen. What is that it? Well, he had a phenomenal draft, okay? And I'm not the only one saying that. Okay, I can promise you that because on today's show, we're going to hear from a former NFL GM. He loved Baltimore's draft. And we're also going to hear from some NFL scouts. They weigh in on a couple of different Baltimore Ravens picks. We're going to break that all down for you guys right here on the Ravens Rundown. Make sure you guys stick around because I promise you after this video, if you didn't already love the draft, you will love it, okay? I swear. Before we get into that, though, our May sub battle has been an awesome one so far with the Chiefs report. They currently are beating us by just one sub, though, okay? We got a lot of time left in this month. I want to make this a big push, okay? Pass them, get that lead back, run up the score a little bit because I cannot be behind the Kansas City Chiefs report. I just can't do it, okay? Need you guys to help me out. This is for everybody who has not subscribed yet. If you have not subbed, this is the perfect time to do so. Let's bury the Chiefs, put them in the dirt. Let's get first place in this May sub battle. So former general manager Mike Mayock was on the Rich Eisen show, and he was asked about the draft. He was asked about the draft just as a whole, and then he decided to talk a lot about the Baltimore Ravens. Who is Mike Mayock, you ask? Well, great question. He's a former draft analyst for the NFL Network, and then he served as the general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders from 2019 to 2021. He drafted Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby, Cleveland Ferrell, Nate Hobbs, and also Hunter Renfrow. So this is a guy who's had some pretty good draft picks in his time as general manager, and he spoke a lot about the Baltimore Ravens. Here's how he started it off. He said, I respect the hell out of teams that know who they are. You've heard me talk about the Baltimore Ravens forever, and it's for a reason. When Ozzie Newsome was there, they knew who they were, and they knew how they were going to draft. Eric DeCosta was in the building with him all those years, and nothing's changed. If the board dictates it, they'll move up. They're not afraid to move up. If they have a chance to move down and the board dictates it, they'll move down. But if the boards fall in their way, they have the patience to stick and pick. And that's just what Eric DeCosta has been so phenomenal at, right? And he said he was in the room, he was with Ozzie Newsome, and I think a lot of that was just him soaking up all that wisdom, not only how to run a team, but mainly how to be patient in the draft, stay where you are, and get the most dart throws at a board. I know we all heard Eric DeCosta speak a couple of weeks ago on the Lounge podcast about the NFL draft and his strategy, and it's worked. If you look back at the first-round picks for Baltimore, since 2018, they've been phenomenal. No other team in the National Football League has been able to do quite what they've been able to do. Hayden Hurst, Lamar Jackson, 2018. Marquise Hollywood Brown, Patrick Queen, Rashad Bateman, Odafe Oweh. Then you had the 2022 draft, the most legendary one with Kyle Hamilton and Tyler Linderbaum. Then you got Zay Flowers in 2023, Nate Wiggins in 2024. And of those in that list, 50% of them are Pro Bowlers. Half are Pro Bowlers. 90% are starters. This is where DeCosta excels. We shouldn't be surprised by this anymore because he shows us this year in and year out, and this draft was no different. You get 2 top 15 talents in the first 2 selections. You get a guy in Emory Jones that a lot of people are incredibly high on. Teddy Buchanan, the athletic linebacker. He's going to give a guy like Trenton Simpson a run for his money in the starting position. And then you got a nice little tackle insurance who at some point they believe might be able to step up and replace Ronnie Stanley when that contract is over. Bilal Kone, the cornerback out of West Michigan, he shows a lot of really great promise. Tyler Loop is now your kicker, starting kicker, that is. LeJonte Wester, he's going to be a beast in the return game, has a chance to do really great things with the ball in his hands, and then ended it out with a couple of 6th-rounders, a 7th-rounder. The best 3-pick run, in my opinion, for the entire draft was Anais Peebles, Robert Longerbeam, and Garrett Dellinger. The players you got at that value was phenomenal, okay? Of those 11 picks, I want you to let me know which one was your favorite. And I don't want you to say Mike Green and Malaki Starks, okay? 3rd round through the 7th, you let me know which one was your favorite. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. So Mike Mayock did not just stop there, okay? He went into the selections a little bit more in depth, which I love, because if there's one thing that I like to pride myself on is I think I know my way around a draft board. I love doing the draft analysis right here at Chat Sports. But I know that these guys who at one point were general managers, were at one point NFL draft analysts for the NFL Network, they know it probably a little bit better than I do, and it's great to see that we both agree. Here's what he said about Malaki Starks. At 27, they get Malaki Starks from Georgia, who smells like a Raven. And I knew from October that he was going to be a Raven. He's got an edge about him. He loves ball. He can play nickel and safety. Mike Green, they get him at number 59, and I had him at number 15 to Atlanta. Well, Mike, you and I are very similar in that sense because I had both those guys as a lot better ranked prospects in the picks at which they went. Malaki Starks, he was at the top 18. Mike Green, I had him at a top 15 prospect. Chris Sims just said yesterday in a podcast that he could have seen Mike Green going at 10 overall, and you got him at 59. Those are 2 guys who will start 17 games in year 1. That's not speaking at hyperbole, okay? I genuinely believe that, especially with a guy like Malaki, okay? I would almost use the G word and guarantee it that he'll be starting 17 games in 2025. Mike did not stop there, though, okay? He went on. Talked about a guy who I haven't been as high on, but apparently he is. Let's talk about Emory Jones. And you got Emory Jones sitting right there. 3rd round, number 91. If he doesn't start this year because he's got some developmental components to his game, I think he's going to start the next 8 to 10 years at right tackle for the Ravens. He called him an 8 to 10 year starter for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, it was a little surprising to me because I'd be shocked if they have him play right tackle. Not because I don't think Emory Jones can do it, though. We saw him do it in college at a pretty high level. But because we saw a guy named Roger Rosengarten do it at a high level already in the National Football League. Look what he's able to do against J.J. Watt in the final 2 matchups of the season. He had 22 and 23 pass rush snaps, only pressured in those 45 combined 7 times, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, and at an average pass rushing grade of about a 57 or 58. And then he goes up against maybe the best edge rusher in the National Football League. 56 total snaps for Garrett. He had an overall grade of 59.5. That was a season low. He had a pass rush grade at 52.1. That was a season low. He had 2 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, and 4 pressures. So back to Emory Jones. I still see him as a guard eventually. But regardless, Mike Mayock believes that he's an 8-year starter in the National Football League. A guy you got in the 3rd round. That's some pretty high praise right there. I need you guys to make the call for me, though. Which position will Jones play on the O-line? Is it going to be guard or is it going to be tackle? Let me know in the comments section down below by giving me a G or T. Don't go anywhere because we got a lot still coming up. Let's hear from some NFL scouts in just a little bit. They talked about the first 2 selections for the Baltimore Ravens. But speaking of that first selection, Malaki Starks, if you are a fan of him, if you are a fan of the Baltimore Ravens, if you want his sweet jersey, you can go right now to chatsports.com/sharks and snag one, okay? They're not going to add that one on. They're going to have his number 24. It's going to be awesome. Looks clean, feels good. We all know Fanatics has the best jerseys that money could buy. And chatsports.com/sharks is where you need to go to get yours, okay? Also, helps out the channel. Helps us improve our graphics, hire new people, grow the company, support us right here at the Ravens Rundown by heading to chatsports.com/sharks. Snag your jersey. And, of course, that link will be in the comment section and in the description of today's video. All right, let's talk about some scouts, what they had to say. And we're going to start with the 27th overall selection, Mr. Malaki Starks. Here's what NFL scout had to say on him. The do-all safety has been a major player in Georgia's secondary since he was a freshman and looks to take his vast array of abilities to the NFL. Starks is a Swiss Army knife that would be a real weapon with a creative defensive coordinator. When you look at Bleacher Report, scouting report on Malaki Starks prior to the NFL draft, they graded him out as an 8.9. His overall rank was 4. Bleacher Report had him as the 4th best player in the NFL draft. His positional rank, the best safety in the draft, and his pro comp was just a shorter Jesse Bates. Hell, I'll take that any day of the week, especially when you line him up right next to a guy named Kyle Hamilton. Let's talk about Mike Green, okay? Here's what the scouts had to say about him. Additionally, the Marshall product takes efficient pass to the quarterback by using good angles, impressive bend, and dropping his pads down to corner at the top of the rush. He also has great closing speed and a good motor to get coverage sacks. This dude can do just about anything. And Bleacher Report was just as high on Mike Green as they were on Malaki Starks. Had an 8.1 grade overall, the 16th overall ranked player, the 2nd best edge of the class just behind Abdul Carter, who went number 3 overall, and his pro comp was a shorter Leonard Floyd. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm expecting even better than that from our man Mike Green. Righty? Baltimore crushed this draft. Eric DeCosta crushed this draft. And a ton of people agree. Let's wrap this up where we started with a little quote from Mike Mailbag. So look at that group of guys, and as you go down, there are guys like even in the 6th round, like Longer being from Rutgers, Peebles, the underside DT from Virginia Tech. I mean, that's a Ravens draft. I love that. And that's what made this draft so special, is they didn't just hit in the first 3 rounds, where it's, I don't want to say easy to hit, but it's easier to hit. They hit late too. Their final 3 selections, like I said on the top of the video, were the 3 best selections in the draft, in my opinion. Baltimore crushed it. DeCosta crushed it. He did it again, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not just me saying it. Take it from a former NFL GM as well. We're going to get on out of here. Appreciate you guys for watching today's video. If you have not yet, join us right now by subscribing. First cut is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Kimberly? We got a lot of people thinking he's going to be a guard as I go and turn my fan on. We got Lisa saying he'll play tackle. Papa Shook said we have Stanley and Rosengard at tackle. I know. Best in the North says hashtag Ravens. Is Jordan Davis available for trade for Philadelphia? No, they just picked up his 5th-year option, so they are not going to be moving on from him. Lisa says, hey, Joey, I'm angry about Justin Tucker being released. I'm willing to give Tyler Loop a chance. Lisa, you should be willing to give Tyler Loop a chance. You know why? Because Justin Tucker was not good last year. I'm sorry to say it, okay? I am sorry to say it. Back-to-back AFC North champs. Let's make it 3 in a row, says Papa Shook. Let me know y'all's favorite draft pick. We asked this up the top. Really am curious to see what you guys are saying. What we got in those 3 rounds next year, we're going to draft a first-round pick spell the exact same position, says Brandon 86. Kimberly, what's going on? Happy to see that you're in the chat hanging out with us. See if I miss anything else. I don't think I did. Moggs made a good point. He said Wester is Zay insurance for the playoffs like last year. Yeah, that's not a bad thought. Really not a bad thought, because you look at what that did to your offense, Zay Flowers not being able to play in those last couple of games, and I think a lot of people forget that. And so LeJontay Wester might be a little bit of that insurance. Papa Shook said overall for me it has to be Mike Green. I agree with you, Papa. I was in love with Mike Green. Jack knows it better than anybody. He produced a ton of my pre-draft videos. All I did was talk about Mike Green. All I did was salivate over the player that is Mike Green. And I didn't even think we'd be lucky enough for him to fall to 27. Nonetheless, 59. Lisa loves Mike Green and LeJontay Wester. Mike says Mike Green and the linebacker Teddy Buchanan. Espresso VR says, hi, Joe. What's up, Espresso? Good to see you, my friend. We've already had a ton of questions come in today. Really do appreciate it. If you guys want to ask a question, make sure it gets on today's show. You can super chat it in. Doesn't have to be a big one. $1, $2, $3 does not matter. Super chats guarantee your questions get in to today's mailbag. And then if you guys want a shot to get in there, like Kimberly just asked, hashtag Ravens is the way to get it in. Ask a question, use hashtag Ravens in the chat, and we'll be able to get yours up on screen. Kimberly said, hashtag Ravens, do you think the Ravens will be undefeated in the preseason this year? I think after the streak broke this last year, I do not think so. Unfortunately, Lisa, I hate to burst your bubble. If they're not going to re-sign Marlon Humphrey back, you're going to have to find somebody in the first or second round for his position. Yeah, you're right. What do you think of Nate Wiggins? Do you think he'll be better this year? He disappointed me last year. Shadow, I don't know why you're disappointed in Wiggins last year. He didn't have the interception numbers, no, but I thought he was great in coverage. I didn't think he got much help on the other side with Brandon Stevens. Especially at the end of the year, he was absolutely locking down. I'm really excited about Nate Wiggins this year. Papa Shook is excited as well. All right, up next on today's show, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you need to believe in the Baltimore Ravens, okay? We're going to look at why the Ravens will shock the National Football League. And I'm excited about it, man. It's going to be a fun year. All righty, Jack, are we ready to roll, my friend? Great. I'm about to get into the cut. We got 34 likes right now. I need 50 when we get back. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All righty. We're ready to roll. Coming at you right now. After the 2025 NFL Draft, I really feel like this could be the year that Baltimore finally shocks the National Football League, and they finally get it done in the Lamar Jackson era. And I'm going to tell you about why on today's show. Got 5 reasons for you. Make sure you stick around for all of them. Before we get into the reasons, though, don't jinx it, okay? I'm a superstitious guy. When I was growing up, I made sure I had to wear all the same underwear in my Little League soccer games, Little League football games, and I'm still the same way, okay? So I need you guys to like the video if you want the Ravens to win the Super Bowl in 2025. If you don't like it, that means you don't want to happen. That means you're not a good Ravens fan, all right? If you want it to happen, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button. 5 reasons why to believe. Number 1, we're going to start with the defensive coordinator. That is Mr. Zach Orr. It is year 2 for him, okay? And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I will admit it. I was not a Zach Orr supporter. This was a thumbnail for a video I made right about 6 weeks into the season. And then this was another thumbnail I made for a video about 9 weeks into the season. I was not excited about the way that he started. And I wasn't the only one. He didn't start off well. This defense was not playing well. This was the worst pass defense in the National Football League. Weeks 1 through 10, they ranked 25th, 27th, 32nd, 30th, and 32nd. And a bunch of different passing statistics. And then the last 7 weeks of the season, they were first, second, and 11th. An absolute turnaround. And I get it. Part of that was because our Darius Washington got into the lineup. But I also think anybody who doesn't put some of that on Zach Orr is just ridiculous, okay? It took Orr a little while to get into the swing of things, about 10 weeks. But he got there. And now in year 2, I expect another big jump. And I think he expects that as well. He's the kind of guy that expects constant improvement. And when you improve the way that he did in year 1, and now you're going into year 2, I got a lot of really exciting expectations for the defensive coordinator. If you guys are a fan of Zach Orr, show him some love. Like today's video, okay? Do you love what he did at the end of the season? If so, show me by hitting that thumbs up button. Speaking of Zach Orr, he's got 2 brand new weapons on the defensive side of the football, and that is with Mr. Malaki Starks and Mr. Mike Green. We're going to keep it to just those 2 as of right now because those are 2 guys that I firmly believe can come in and just make an absolute immediate impact. Here's what Malaki Starks brings to the Baltimore Ravens, okay? He's a willing run defender. He's got incredible ball skills. I know every single one of you guys has seen the interception against Oregon by now. He has great position versatility. He's a lot like Kyle Hamilton in that way where he can play nickel. He can play near the line of scrimmage. He can play strong safety, free safety. He can go anywhere. He's a young leader. We've already seen that rookie minicamp. He's breaking down the huddle. He came in, and he's telling everybody, guys, this is my defense. And also, you get to take the leash off of Kyle Hamilton, and that's going to help your defense a ton. If you look at the current state of the depth chart of the Baltimore Ravens, Kyle Hamilton is actually playing in the nickelback position, the slot DB. You could see him right there at green, right above defensive line, right to the right of Nate Wiggins at cornerback. That allows Malaki Starks to play in safety role, or Darius Washington to play in safety role, and then Marlon Humphrey to go back to outside cornerback. That's going to improve your defense a ton, that Kyle Hamilton can now be put anywhere again, whether it's slot DB or whether it's as a safety. Marlon Humphrey, he doesn't need to just play nickelback this year because that's kind of all he had to play because Kyle Hamilton really could only play safety last year. You couldn't really put him anywhere else. Now, Malaki Starks comes in, takes that leash off of Hamilton. Let's talk about Mike Green, the best pass rusher in football last year. A 91.4 pass rush grade. His run defense was a 90.2. His pass rush grade was a 90.9, and his pass rush win rate was a 20.2%. That means every one of his pass rush reps, he won within 2.5 seconds, 20.2% of the time. 1/5 of the time. This defense needs that. They need consistent and constant pressure. Mike Green will bring that, okay? Whether the sack number's there or not, I'm confident he'll be able to rush the passer and pressure the passer consistently. Let's go to number 3 now, okay? How about a different type of wide receiver for Lamar? The offseason edition of DeAndre Hopkins, it's kind of been like conflicting opinions. I've always been really excited about it because he's incredibly cheap, $5 million, and he brings a veteran presence. He's not your typical wide receiver diva. He's a great red zone target. He's a contested catch demon, which is kind of where Baltimore struggled last year. They had 27 drops, 8th most in the National Football League. They were top 10 in drop balls. And that's just something that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't really do. 2 big stats for you. He had 2 drops in 2024. And his catch rate over expected was plus 7.2%, still top 18 in the National Football League. And I know we've showed you these pictures before. We're not going to break them down. We're just going to flash through them because they just show you time and time again, game and game again, in Kansas City, he's able to make these contested catches. Whether it's in the middle of 2 guys, whether it's tight one-on-one coverage, whether it's deep inside the 10-yard line, whether it's like while he's getting hit, like one-handed catches, this dude still could do it on the goal line. He gives Lamar Jackson something he hasn't had yet. That is a goal line threat wide receiver, a red zone target wide receiver. I love Zay Flowers. I love Rashad Bateman. They're not that guy. in that sense of the word, DeAndre Hopkins is, okay? Predict D-Hop's 2025 stat line in the comment section down below. Get those crystal balls out, tell the future, and let me know in the comment section. Coming up, we got 2 more reasons to believe. Are you a believer? I'm trying to make you one right here on today's show. Before that, I'll tell you what I'm a believer in. That's our friends at Prize Picks. You can cash in on basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports stakes into real money all season long on Prize Picks. And maybe you're not a big basketball fan. Well, if you're only a football fan, they still have season projections for all the quarterbacks. You can go Lamar Jackson. I went with Lamar on passing yards, 3,399.5. I took the less on Michael Penix, the less on J.J. McCarthy as well. You can do the exact same thing as I can. Fade my picks. You can tell my picks. Make sure you use our friends at Prize Picks. And download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. I know it's been an often topic of discussion over the past couple of days, but it's just going to be a fresh special teams unit, okay? And I think that's going to be beneficial for Baltimore because you got to think of what Justin Tucker was doing in some of the losses. You're down 12 with 1 minute left. Well, in that game, he missed 2 field goals and an extra point, right? So if those were made, you only need a touchdown to take the lead. Another loss. You're down 8 with 3:35 left. He's missed 2 field goals. So now you need a touchdown 2-point conversion. In reality, you would have just needed a field goal. Another loss. You're down 5 with 1 minute left. You had the ball. Well, he went 1 for 2 on field goals that day. You needed a touchdown. Instead, you could have just gotten yourself a nice little field goal. And in 2024, he made 22 field goals, 23rd best in the National Football League. His field goal percentage, 73.3, 32nd. His field goal percentage from 40 to 49 yards, 62.5, 30th in the National Football League. His field goal percentage from 50-plus yards, abysmal, 54.5, 26th best in the NFL. He was not top 20 in a single statistic last year. And so, this fresh special teams unit, it's going to be a good thing, I think. Now you get Tyler Lue, who I'm really excited about. That kid's got a leg on him. We've all seen the clip of him hitting from 65, from 62. He's got a lot to learn. But I think with Justin Tucker out of the building, it's going to take a lot of distraction out. He's going to just be focusing on being the best kicker he can be. And you get a fresh face, an entirely fresh special teams unit at the kicking position. And then lastly, you still have elite offensive talent and an elite offensive coordinator, okay? Those 3 guys, and Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers, were nothing short of phenomenal in 2024. 5,000 total yards for Lamar, 2,000 total yards for Derrick Henry, 1,100 total yards for Zay Flowers. 45 touchdowns for Lamar, 18 for Henry, 4 for Flowers. PFF ranked, they were number 1 for Henry and Lamar. Zay Flowers, top half of the league at 16th. They combined for 67 touchdowns. And this offensive line, sure, there's some question marks. Sure, everybody would like a little bit more depth on it. But I've still got faith in them. I've got faith on the outside. I've got faith in Linderbaum. Daniel Fa'alele, I know he wasn't everybody's favorite, but still, he was good enough last year. Hopefully, he takes a step up. Same with Andrew Voorhees. And let's talk about Todd Monken, because we got to talk about Todd Monken. There's a reason he got that contract extension in late January. Because if you look at the numbers last year, they were first in total expected points added, First in expected points added per pass. Fourth in expected points added per rush. First in yards per game. Tied for second in touchdowns scored. They were unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And Lamar, unbelievable. You know what else is unbelievable? The fact that he didn't win MVP. With 4,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 8.8 yards per attempt. 3 of those being career highs. Todd Monken sets this team up, sets this offense up for success time and time again, and you got the players good enough to execute on it. Be honest with me. What's your confidence level in Todd Monken? Scale it 1 to 100 in the comment section down below. Genuinely, I sit at like a 97. Curious to hear you guys' answer. As always, while you're scrolling back up for me down there in the comment section, make sure to hit that big red sub button. You're not going to be able to miss it. And if you do miss it, shame on you. If you don't, hey, welcome to the Ravens Rundown. We give you daily coverage right here on the channel. So we'll see you next time. All righty. There is another segment in the books. We need one more like. I said I needed 40. We got 39. Let me know your confidence level in Todd Monken. Espresso says, I'm a believer. Papa says Zay and Bate both go over 1,000 yards this year too. I would not be surprised. When will you live stream after this stream? Says Shadow Prods. I go live every Tuesday. Lisa says, of course, I believe in my Ravens. They believe they achieve. Kimberly says, I hope the Ravens win all 17 games and the regular season 2025 and 2026. Lisa says, Kimberly, girl, I like your thinking. Ravens King says, hashtag Ravens, there's a video showing Tyler Loop making a 75-yard field goal when he was at Arizona. I'm excited we drafted him, and I think he will do good this year and the years to come. Joey, would you trade TJ Watt would you do this trade? TJ Watt for a first? I would do that without even thinking twice about it. Mike Nintendo Master. Shannon says 95%. Papa Shook says 100. Mike says 86. Kimberly says 98. Lisa Frankel says 100. Lisa, it is so good to see you. Yes, they would. The Steelers are not going to trade TJ Watt to the Baltimore Ravens, unfortunately. Lisa, I hope you are doing well. I know it's been a while since we talked to each other. Hope you're healthy. And appreciate you being here. Best in the North says 98.6, getting technical with it. We're about to get into our mailbag segment. If you guys want to guarantee to get your question on today's show, you can super chat in. $1, $2, $3, does not matter. If you guys want to roll the dice, use hashtag Ravens. Get your questions down below, and we will get them in the show. We don't need a bag for anymore, do we, Jack? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. Espresso VR says 98.45. Not bad. I'm up there with you. I'm really, really excited about Todd Monken. And I think it's no coincidence that right when he left Georgia, their offense, low-key, started sucking. I don't think that's a coincidence one bit at all. At Joe, I saw a lot of TJ Watt in a Ravens jersey. Oh, I saw AI of TJ Watt in a Ravens jersey and sent to my Steelers friend. He said it's not happening. Also, he may hit free agency next year. They don't seem to be making a deal. Is he? I don't think he would. I don't think he's a free agent next year. Let me see. TJ Watt. Oh, yeah, he is. You are correct. You are correct, my friend. Papa Shook says, love to see the old Ravens sweater too, Joey. I put it on this morning, Papa, and I literally looked at my wife and I was like, this sweatshirt is so sick. Because her parents, my father and mother-in-law got it for me for my birthday last year, and it's awesome. Shadow says, yo, Joey, can you show Justin Tucker with Deshaun? Oh, never mind. What's your confidence on our offense getting us to Super Bowl 60? I feel good about it. I feel good about it. I mean, I feel about as confident as you can. I still believe in Lamar. I still believe in all the boys. Okay. Jack, we ready to roll? Say it again. Yeah, I know. I keep seeing it. Alrighty, we're gonna get in the mailbag. Continue to get your questions in because once we're in it, we can still, field new questions. And we're gonna get started getting to your questions right now. You're watching the Ravens Rundown. It is my favorite segment every single week. We answer your questions, everything you want to know on the latest Ravens news, the latest Ravens rumors, everything you got for me, I'm going to answer right here on the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. Before we get into it, okay, I want to play a fun little game because this segment is filmed on our Tuesday live shows. Every question is live from all of our audience members. And the first one to guess my middle name in today's comment section gets a shout out on Tuesday's live show. Get down in the comment section, guess it for me. I'll give you a hint. It's a biblical name. Give me your best shot. Let's start with the questions. #Ravens. Joey, do you think Nate Wiggins is going to have more than one interception? Because he kind of disappointed me last year. Shadow, I think he will, but I disagree with you in the fact that I guess it's your opinion. If you think he disappointed you, then he disappointed you. He didn't disappoint me. He was phenomenal in coverage at the very end of the season. Took a little bit of time for him to get into it, but also you got to remember at the same time, he was playing on the opposite side of Brandon Stevens. And Brandon Stevens had a horrible season in 2024, okay? So, I think he's going to take a big step up. He didn't even disappoint me last season. But I expect him to have a really good year in 2025. Really excited about what he'll be able to do. Next one coming from Sticky Slick Billy. #Ravens, do you think there's a defensive tackle or edge rusher worth picking up or trading for before the season? The interesting thing about that question, Sticky, is the two, kind of big named trade edge rushers are Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt. And both those guys play in the AFC North. So I kind of doubt they would even be traded to the Baltimore Ravens. Other than that, I don't know about trading. There's some edge rushers I would still pick up, though. 100%. I would sign Von Miller tomorrow. I would sign Zadarius Smith tomorrow. I'd probably even sign Matthew Judon tomorrow. All three of those guys, I still think can give you something. It's not a bad thing to have a lot of good pass rushers on a team. But I do think that they will pick up a defensive tackle. Maybe not an edge rusher because he got a lot already, but I think defensive tackle will be addressed at some point for the start of the season. Up next is the best in the North. I love Buchanan's trades, but could he challenge Simpson for playing time? Or just could he challenge Simpson for playing time? Yeah, I think he could. We saw Trenton Simpson kind of ride the pine at the end of last year, right? He played 15 snaps in the last 4 weeks of the season after pretty much being a starter for the entirety of it. So obviously something went wrong there. I don't know what it is. It could just be, he lost some trust from the coaching staff. But now you add in Teddy Buchanan. While he is a rookie, he's got some phenomenal traits, like you said. He's athletic. He's fast. He's hard-nosed. He's willing to hit. He's willing to blitz the quarterback as well. He's got a lot of really good in his game. He's good in coverage. You're just going to have to see how he fits in an NFL system and on an NFL field. Next up from Kiki, do you love me? Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Is a Trey Hendrickson trade still a possibility for the #Ravens? I don't think so. I still think Trey Hendrickson getting traded is a possibility. I don't necessarily see him getting traded to the Baltimore Ravens, though. It just doesn't make sense from Cincinnati's point of view to trade him to, their biggest competitor, one of their biggest, their biggest competitor. We've won the AFC North the last 2 seasons. And so it's I don't see them trading him just to make this team better. I would love it. I think Trey Hendrickson might be the missing piece. I probably still think we need a corner a little bit more than edge rusher now after you drafted Mike Green. I would love that trade, but I don't think it's a possibility. What say you? Will the Ravens trade for Trey Hendrickson? Let me know down there in the comments section by typing T for trade or typing P for pass. Let me know your answer right now. Up next, we got LT Productions, #Ravens. Do you think we could ever get Micah Parsons? No, I don't think that that's how this team rolls. They've got enough good players they need to pay. And they're not going to add another one that they have to pay a lot for, okay? I think they're going to extend Lamar Jackson very soon. I think they're eventually going to extend Tyler Linderbaum. Obviously, I think they're eventually going to extend Kyle Hamilton. And then Zay Flowers' contract's going to be up. Rashad Bateman's contract's going to be up. Roger Rosengarten's contract is going to be up. You just paid Ronnie Stanley. All of a sudden, Roquan Smith is up. Marlon Humphreys is up. It's like, that's the curse of having a lot of really good players already on your roster. You don't necessarily have the money to go pay other really good players and get them on their roster. So I would be shocked if Micah Parsons was ever a Baltimore Raven. Next up, Kimberly Harmon. I think the Ravens will be undefeated in the preseason this year. Kimberly, I don't think so. After they lost the game against the Eagles in week 1 of the preseason, I think the streak ended, and that's going to be a hard streak to get back up. So, I don't know, but maybe. Who knows, man? It's preseason. I'm excited for it, though, because that's some watch parties. I got to start again. Mike, Nintendo Master, always get in the comment section. Who's the best free agent cornerback left? So, at the time of recording this, I would say it is Kendall Fuller or Asante Samuel Jr. Stephon Gilmore, also honorable mention. I think any of those 3 guys would be a really interesting and possibly positive fit in this cornerback room. But you got to think of the fact that they already did sign a cornerback in free agency, which doesn't mean that they can't do it again. But what that does mean in my mind is they've already weighed the best cornerback free agent options, and they believe that Chidobe Awuzie was the best one that fit this roster, either from a playing standpoint, an age standpoint, an injury standpoint, or a cost standpoint, right? So we already know they were in the market for a free agent corner, and they went with Awuzie, not with any of those guys I just mentioned. But I would love Asante Samuel Jr. or Kendall Fuller. I would also love if you guys hit up our friends over at Fanatics by going to chatsports.com/Starks. That's going to send you to this jersey right here, and that helps out the channel as well. You know, keeps the lights on right here at Chat Sports. We've grown like crazy. Ever since I got here a year ago, we've added 20% to the staff. And we're going to continue to keep growing, especially if you guys keep supporting us and support us by supporting the Baltimore Ravens as well. Chatsports.com/Starks is where you're going to go to get this Malaki Starks jersey. It'll have the 24 on it, his actual number. And you can find this link in the comments and description of today's video as well. So go check them out, and let's get Starks' jersey numbers up through the roof. Up next, we got Papa Shook. How many sacks can we expect from Mike Green? Great question, my friend. I would be shocked if Mike Green got less than 6 sacks. And I know that's a high ceiling for a rookie. Okay, and Dallas Turner came in, didn't have that great of a year last year with Minnesota. A lot of people thought he was probably going to be a guarantee to get that many sacks. But, I just think Mike Green is so incredibly special, and he's going to be on a defensive line that's already got some good pass rushers as well, in Kyle Van Noy, and Adebayo, and Nnamdi Madubuike up the middle, okay? And so I would be really surprised at the end of the day if he didn't get 6. I also think he could possibly get double digit. That'd be phenomenal. Wouldn't be surprised for that at all. Absolutely excited to watch that dude dominate on the National Football League. Let's go to Moggs now. #Ravens, why not wait until June for the $4 million with Tucker? So what Moggs is referring to right now is the fact that we designated Justin Tucker as a post-June 1st cut, which means that we don't see any of that money, the $4.2 million from cutting him, until June. Now, why not wait until then? I don't really know the answer. They said they were going to wait until the investigation wrapped up. Obviously, they didn't. They cut him 2 days later after John Harbaugh said that. There's a possibility they found out the investigation wasn't going very well, but I don't really want to speculate. That's not a fact. That's just kind of my thoughts of the situation. But they've got their reasons of why not to wait, right? I think they kind of saw what was in the horizon maybe and just figured, you know what, let's just cut him now and designate him post-June 1st cut, wait to get that money on June 1st. LT Productions with another question. #Ravens, do you think the Ravens will make any more free agency moves? Yeah, I do. I would not be surprised if they add another interior defensive lineman, okay? The interior of this defensive lineman at the top is good. Once you get past Nnamdi Madubuike and Travis Jones, it gets a little bit worse. I'm excited about Anais Peebles, but you lost Michael Pierce, right? You lost a really, really great depth piece in the center of that defensive line. You just need more bodies at the end of the day, okay? So I would not be surprised if they bring in a guy that's going to be a defensive tackle depth piece. I would be surprised if they brought in a guy that's going to be a starter on any side of the ball. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think some depth moves are still to be made by Baltimore. Next up, #Ravens, will we keep 6 or 7 cornerbacks? Well, let's count through them, okay? And actually, Jack, do you mind throwing up the depth 3 of the cornerback depth chart? It is most recently updated, so you should be able to find it. You got Marlon, Nate, Chidobe, TJ Tampa, Longerbeam, and Kone. I think you go with those 6. So, yeah, I think they go 6 corners, and I don't think they go 7. It just doesn't really make sense to go 7 unless one of those guys absolutely blows your doors off. But you also got to think about the safety room, the other side of the defensive backs. You got Kyle Hamilton, Ardarius Washington, Bo Braid, Sanusi Kane, now Malaki Starks. And so it's like they'll do 6 quarterbacks, I'm almost certain. Ravens King says, #Ravens, Lamar Jackson will only get better this year, and I do think he will win a Super Bowl with us. I do too, Ravens King. I don't know about getting better because it's going to be hard to get better than what he was last year. 4,100 yards, 41 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, 8.8 yards per attempt. His completion percentage was out of this world as well. Like, it's going to be hard to improve by that. So I'd be shocked if he improves. But that doesn't mean I don't think he can lead us to a Super Bowl. I truly still firmly believe that Lamar Jackson will be a Super Bowl winning quarterback one day, and it will be in purple and gold. Espresso VR, next question. #Ravens, what's your confidence on our offense getting us to a Super Bowl 60? Great question. I don't want to necessarily answer this from confidence of the offense because your whole team has to be playing well. It's never going to just be the offense. It's never going to just be the defense. It's got to be a full team game. And I think the defense is going to make a massive step up this next year. And so because of that, I mean, I'm as confident as you can be. Let's go, like, if we're scaling 1 to 100, 33%, 33, like, there's a 33% chance they make the Super Bowl. I think that's pretty solid odds. Like, I doubt you could find that on a sports book anywhere else. And so that's my confidence level. We're going to wrap this one up with Kyle Matthiasen. Did the #Ravens make the right decision with Justin Tucker? It's a loaded question. I think they did. Like I said, I just think it was time. And I think they make the right decision with drafting a kicker. I think they made the right decision with just cutting ties. He was not good in 2024. Obviously, you have the 16 allegations against him. Now, the NFL is still investigating, so there's a chance he's not guilty. But as of right now, they are still allegations. I just think at the ultimate end of the day, they made the right choice. If they thought it was going to be Tyler Lue that led this team as the kicker, right, or led the special teams unit as the kicker, then having Justin Tucker in all the preseason games and all of training camp was just going to be a massive distraction, and I don't think good for a guy like Tyler Lue's mental, okay? So moving on from Justin Tucker is going to clear things up for him, and I just think it was the right move at the end of the day. Let me know in the comment section, though, did the Ravens make the right call? Answer yes or no down below. I think they did. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Make sure you guys subscribe because we got everyday coverage of your favorite team all through the entirety of this offseason, okay? We're going to still be busy right here on the channel. So lock us in right now. Hit that sub button. There we go. Three segments up, 3 segments down. Let's get into the comment section. What's it between? Give me the spark notes, Jack. Mike, you think Kyle Hamilton's bad? Wow. That's crazy. He says he needs to go. Mike, I love you, man. You're a real one. You're always here, and I appreciate that. But I disagree. I disagree with that statement right there. But that's okay. Friends can still disagree. Yable says Andrews should be next. Less mental distractions on the team. Lord Buddy Bear says no. Bring in another kicker for competition. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, Lord Buddy Bear. Also, welcome in. What's going on, man? Good to see you. And Joey, when you blow it in the playoffs, that's not a good sign. How did Kyle Hamilton blow it in the playoffs? Yeah. How did he blow it in the playoffs? He didn't blow it in the playoffs. He was good in the playoffs. You know who blew it in the playoffs? Mark Andrews fumbled. He also dropped 2-point conversion. Lamar Jackson threw 2 interceptions. It's like, I'm not saying they blew it either, but it was not on Kyle Hamilton. So, do or die year for the Ravens, says Moggs. I do think that as well. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to get some big dollars and big dollars elsewhere in free agency after this year, and so this might be the season to get it done. I wanted Gunnar Helm from Texas to replace Andrew Show, he says Yaml. I really like Gunnar Helm as well. I'm really still confident in Isaiah Likely, though. Kyle's a stud. 14 will retire a Raven. I hope so. I hope so. All righty. Okay, I got to see. Did anybody guess my middle name right? I'm not going to. Nobody has guessed it right so far. Mike said Kane. That's funny. All right, that's our live show, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out with us. Really do appreciate you guys for tuning in on this fine Tuesday evening. We'll have another video out tomorrow. Day after that. Y'all guys know the drill. Of course, we'll be live again next Tuesday. So I'll see you next time. Producer Jack, myself, y'all have a great day, and God bless.